Welcome to another edition of Season 23 of RGV Stars, live with Alex Arabia and Isaac Medina. Remember RGV Stars is?
The premier platform for showcasing Rio Grande Valley talent.
And the RGV Celebrities Place to Be. Celebrities and actors like Kaleb Phoenix Alanis. Thank you, Kaleb, for being here.
Hi, what's up?
On RGV Stars.
Pleasure
Happy to have you here.
And today our viewers will get the chance to know more about you, about your career, your background, how it all got started, achievements, obstacles, current projects, future goals, and anything else that you want to share.
Yeah, no, of course.
Including your recent experience in this reality show, Enamorandonos.
Yes.
You'll be sharing
Looking
that
for
too.
love.
Awesome. Yes. So, Kaleb, tell us a little bit about where you're from, what you studied, and how you got involved in acting, modeling, and music.
Oh, well, I'm actually here from the Valley. 956.
There you go.
What's
What
the-
did I
I was born in Edinburgh, raised in Far.
Okay. Not far away.
Right, far and away. And then I graduated from Idea Public Schools in Donna. So I'm an Idea
Product of an idea school.
And well, so my family from like my dad's side, they were like in band. So a lot of my primos were, they'd be like the drummer, or they'd be playing like in band or whatever. But really, like, I think I was about maybe like 2 or 3 years old, más o menos. And my dad, he's from Lubbock, Texas. So he taught me very like early AC/DC and like Aerosmith. And then my mom she would introduce me to like Vicente Fernandez and like, like all these like classic like ranchera
Mexican
music.
singers.
Sí, yeah. And so, I kind of basically grew up in both worlds in that type of industry. But I didn't really pick it up until I think I was about 10 or 11 when I picked up a guitar. And so really I started off with music first.
That was your first passion.
That was my first passion, right? I was like, I want to be a rock star. I want to be like Slash and Angus Young. So I want to be like that, And then, I was also into big like action films. So Rambo with Sylvester Stallone, the very first one, I was like, I don't know, 5 or 6. I was like obsessed with the whole like, wilderness type of thing, and where he's like out there. And then Ghost Rider was a big one because I was a big Nicolas Cage fan. And then really Castaway with Tom Hanks was like a big one. And so really like I was like, I would just like imagine myself as a little kid just being in that world, just like, living it. And then at 15 years old, I was actually a freshman. I got an opportunity to go to Hollywood. And that's actually because of my mentor, who is Adrian Almonte. He's actually Esteban from the Ciudad Versace Cody.
And we're seeing pictures of him on the screen.
Yeah.
You with him.
And so really like Adrian, he was down here for an event. And I pretty much like signed up.
Yes.
I don't know what it was.
That was an iconic show on the Disney Channel.
Yeah, and I grew up watching Disney Channel and Nickelodeon and stuff. And so, when he was here, I went just to, because I was like, oh, well, I'm only 15, like, let's see what happens, And it's funny because like, at the time, I kind of had like the same hairstyle as of right now. But he also had the same hairstyle. And so he just looks at me and he's like, you could be like my identical twin, but, like, younger. And I was like, yeah. And then they're like, hey, you guys look like brothers and stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess we kind of do.
There's a resemblance.
And so really, that was on a January. By May, by May, I pretty much went to LA. And then it's funny because going back on like how I grew up watching Disney Channel, Nickelodeon and everything, I actually ended up working with everybody that I grew up watching. So Jonathan Goldstein, who's the dad from Drake and Josh, he was my instructor.
Wow.
We had Gustavo from Big Time Rush. He was my instructor. Matt Timmons, who became one of my good friends. He plays Woody on the Sweet Life on Deck. And so really like all of a sudden I'm around like all these big people, And, I started doing some classes, started doing some training, really like, because I just figured, oh, you show up, do your lines, you do this, and then you bounce. But there's actually like a whole, witchcraft that you got to do. Like, no,
A lot of
not
work behind
witchcraft.
the scenes that the people don't see, but it's a big process.
Yeah, and really, like, I got my first booking after I came back from LA. I got my first booking with McDonald's. That was like huge after I got signed with
like a commercial or something.
Yeah, it was like a print / commercial.
Okay.
Like an ad.
Like with a Big Mac here on the.
Yeah, it was like some like scholarship thing that they were doing. Yeah, now I've done about, I think I'm already going on 28, 29 projects.
Here locally in the RGV.
Well, locally here in Miami, I've done a couple of things in LA, worked with some of the biggest names in the industry. And I just finished a motion picture last year that's about to get released this year in theaters.
Can you share what movie?
It's called Echoes of the Border.
Echoes of
Which
the Border.
it has suspense, it has drama, it has action, it has everything in one. And so it comes out later on this year, and then pretty much I've just been going at it.
And I've seen you work with many past RGV Stars guests like Brenda Garza.
Brenda, I love Brenda. Brenda, I love you.
Napoleon.
Napo también. Well, me and Napo did Echoes of the Border together.
Right.
So
Maneli Cepeda.
Maneli también. Maneli, like, she's like I call her like my little sis.
And we've had Popular Loner, the band, and you were also part of several music videos.
Yeah, I think it was Brenda. Yeah, I think it was like Brenda that introduced me to them on a film called Find Me. And she introduced me to Freddie. And then
Cool guy.
yeah, no, Freddie, he's like my brother. Like, I love him. He does my tattoos as well, so it's like, you know. And really, like, I've been working with them as well. Like, they'll, like, whenever they need someone for a music video, they call me.
Yeah.
And I always say yes to them because, like, you know, it's an opportunity. And so I love working with them. I love helping with them. And really, like, we're tight. We're tight.
Wow. And when it comes to acting, do you have like a preferred genre, like comedy, drama, or do you want to be the good guy, the bad guy? What's your preference?
Kind of. I mean, I played the villain. I've played the bad boyfriend.
The cheater.
Yeah.
Or the abuser.
No, man. I've done pretty much everything. The only thing I haven't done yet is mainly like drama, but that's something that I really love because it's a challenging thing. Action is like, yeah, you know, you could get a little bit of like weapons training, and then andas como, you know, bien así. But with drama, with drama, it's like crying scenes are really like the hardest. Now, personally for me, I can't cry on cue. I'm too hyper. I have ADHD, so sometimes it kicks in, you know. So it's kind of hard for me to like really get into like a persona like that. But I like it because it's a challenge, and I like challenges.
Do you have to think about something sad you've gone through in your own life?
Believe it or not, yeah. I've learned it a while back where it's kind of like a hard thing to play around with, but it helps because it's like, you know, if you went through something that's like very hard, and it like really like made you cry at that moment, one of the things that I've learned through other actors is really try to remember about that.
Yeah.
Even if it's painful, it's
Yeah.
gonna help. And yeah, it helps.
Are kissing scenes as hard as crying scenes?
Not really. I mean like,
It can
okay,
be awkward.
if you have chemistry with that person, it's easy, right? Which is why they do table reads, and then, you know, you're doing like meetings with them and stuff. Like
Auditions.
just to know each other, you know. I'm not a good kisser, but you know, sometimes you just gotta learn, I guess.
And I know you already shared role models, actors you admire, and also achievements like being on these big projects. But when it comes to acting, memorizing lines, is that something hard?
Yeah, that's a challenge because like sometimes, you know, like I get so into
techniques
it.
to.
Yeah, coffee is one of them because coffee keeps me calmed down. So with me, when I, you know, get into character and I'm, you know, rehearsing my lines and stuff, I'm somebody that likes to repeat a lot of stuff because it helps with the memorization. Yeah, it helps out tremendously. But also I just kind of like, you know, just kind of trying it out on people. Like, so if I remember a couple of lines, I'll go with like somebody like nada que ver with like the production or anything, and just without saying anything, I just start doing my lines, but kind of like in a smooth into like a conversation type of thing, and just kind of see how far I can go, and then I'll just keep on going and going and going.
You've done
it's
theater
like,
also, like live theater, or it's mainly like.
I've only done theater once, but theater and film are totally different because with theater, it's all about projection, right?
Yeah.
And it's also like memorizing lines, getting into character.
And there's no take two.
There is no take two. You're just there, literally live, in front of a major audience.
Yes.
You have a lot of eyes just, staring at you. So if you mess up, it's not like, cut, and then redo. It's more kind of like, if you mess up, sígale.
Yeah.
Because if you stay quiet for more than 2 seconds, the audience right off the bat is gonna be like, what happened?
Yes.
And with film, it's obviously like, okay, like let's say we're doing a scene, and then like you do your monologue, you're going into it, I go into it as well, and all of a sudden like I go off script, or like I forget a line, I'm like, oh crap, like I'm stuck. The director can usually just say, all right, cut, redo.
Before we ask you about your future goals, tell us about this experience on this reality show, Enamorandonos, and the chisme you said you had about it.
So back in February, I've never heard of the show or anything.
It's a famous show on national.
Yeah, I didn't know how big it was, and so I went on. So the first time that I went on was actually in February.
Okay.
A friend of mine with the airlines, she was going on the show.
Because you work for the airlines, right? That's your.
As well, yeah. Like when I'm not filming or when I'm not doing anything, one of my like side hobbies is actually aviation. So.
You love airplanes and flying.
Yeah, no, I have it tattooed on me. I loved aviation since I was like a little kid.
Yeah.
First birthday party was airplane themed, and ever since then, became obsessed.
Wow.
And so she was like, hey, I'm going on, this TV show in Miami. My sister signed me up, and I don't know what. I'm like, you're gonna be on TV? And she goes, hey, but like, do you have any tips on me? And I'm like, well, I was like, look, it's your first time ever being like on a camera,
Yeah.
So it is gonna be a little bit intimidating, especially because you're on live TV, you have an audience, and then you're really gonna, because she knows everything that I do. So I'm like, you're really gonna see the behind the scenes of producers, assistants, camera, lighting, everything. But it's okay.
Yeah.
Literally, just pretend the camera's not there. And if you get nervous, just go with the flow. Like literally go with the vibe and just take your time and don't rush. Oh, okay. And she's like, hey, how come you're not on that show? I was like, me on a dating show? I was like, I mean, I'm looking for a girlfriend, but I don't think I'm gonna find her there. No, come on, like you should try it. And I was like, bueno. And then I thought about it. I was like, bueno, if you really think about it, it's like, it's a good opportunity. I don't see why not. If it's a twofer, like I can be on TV and get a girlfriend at the same time.
Why not?
Hey,
Why
it's
not?
a deal. It's a
So I
win-win.
went on, and I'll put it to you this way: the first time, yeah, me and that girl didn't really click. Like, she didn't like the fact that I had long hair at the time, But I was doing it because of a role and this and that.
We saw you in some pictures here with long hair.
The first thing she says, and like I respect her, she's cool. I mean, we didn't really.
So she was kind of
connect.
superficial, right?
Yeah, because her first thing was like, "Ay, tiene el pelo largo," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a metalhead." I'm like, "Yeah," but we didn't really, connect. And then like we kind of talked after the show, and then like about a month passed, and then I got a phone call from her, and we kind of like talked a little bit, but then nothing ever really went from that. And so I was like, I'm on that one. Like, I didn't get a girlfriend, but at least I got to enjoy the experience.
And on the show, when they're asking questions, you're not seeing each other, right? There's like a wall
no. So
between.
I thought the show was like like scripted or anything. Cause hello, like I'm in the industry.
So it's a real thing.
It's a very 100% real thing, non-scripted. Believe it or not, if you want to like, let's say, get esa flecha a me, or if you want to get somebody else, literally just go on the website or like on their Instagram, fill out the form. You could put my name or anybody else that's like on there, or that's even been previously on the show as well. And you just basically sign up. The following day, production calls you. They ask you kind of like a couple questions and that. Next thing you know, they fly you out
to Miami.
And then it's literally like the other person that you're trying to go with, they don't know you at all. All they know is that they're on the palco, right? And all of a sudden, before you go on, they do another like last minute interview, and they ask you a bunch of questions like, okay, what are you gonna say? You know,
everything in Spanish, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Everything's in Espanol. Everything. So the second time when I went on, I was actually friends with a couple people from the show. And you know, and I've been talking to them, and they're like, hey, we miss you, like, you should come back. And I was like, nah, no sé. I was like, I mean, it was a fun experience, but
you didn't find a girl.
I was like, I doubt it, I'm gonna find somebody. But they ended up convincing me, and so next thing I knew, I was like, all right, well, let me see who's still on the show. And well, there is a girl who actually ended up becoming
with red hair or no? The one from the picture?
The first one said Sachari. And like afterwards, like, we became like good friends and everything.
You went on dates and stuff?
No, so I go on and, you know, I go on. She's never heard of me or seen me. I knew exactly who she was, and I knew exactly what she was looking for. And as soon as like we started asking questions, and you know, like they started asking me questions and stuff, I was like, wow, I really do dig her. Like she's awesome. And yeah, the door opened.
You thought you could be the one.
Oh yeah, and to this day, I still think maybe someday.
Oh, maybe.
Se quedó enamorado.
Yeah, no, I did.
It worked.
I can't really say why, but I ended up basically pulling a stunt, which between me, her, and somebody else, like I knew she was gonna say no. So in other words, I was like, know what? I'm already here.
Que no. Is that what they say on the show, right?
Yeah, it's just like
famous phrase.
Like I knew she was gonna say no, just right off the bat, because like when we were talking like in the back and stuff, we were talking about a couple of things, and so I had to basically come up with a plan B because I was kind of like, she's gonna say no. She's gonna say no.
So you went with the next best thing.
So next thing I know, you know, I'm sitting down, right? I'm like this y todo. And then, you know, the camera's like with somebody else, and all of a sudden, okay, now they come back to us. And so I told her, I was like, look, I know you're gonna say no, but you're still pretty cool. If we can be friends afterwards, I'm cool with that too. She's like, no, like I want to be friends too, and this and that. I'm like, all right, cool. So I was like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, what do I do? Because I'm already here, and I kind of low-key, I'm looking for a girlfriend, you know? It's a free-for-all. Everybody's single. So I'm like, well, why not? I'm already there.
Single and ready
Pues ella me va a decir que no, ¿sabes qué? Esa. I'll go with that one next. And so I didn't think it was a big deal, but pretty much I love her so much.
Spill the bees, come on.
She goes, because they're like, va a ser un que sí, o un que no. And she goes, bueno, she's like, yo siento que no me estaba poniendo tanta atención y que esto y que el otro, y se me hace que estaba viendo a alguien más del palco. And then you see my face where I'm like, uh-oh. Like, okay, well, I guess I have to go. So then all of a sudden everybody's like, wait, what? Rafa, the host, Ana Patricia were like, wait, what? The audience was like, ¿qué? And then I'm like, es porque hay alguien que tiene el pelo rojo. Everybody's like, oh. And then all of a sudden it got quiet. Very quiet. And then the audience was like, and I'm over here like, kind of like, oh crap, like what happened, right?
Kaleb, where do you see yourself in the future, 5 to 10 years from now? Future goals.
Future goals? Yeah.
You want to continue in this acting
so the way things are going, you know, it's good because like I'm finally getting like a good big break, and I'm doing a lot of things with a lot of big people. I have so many projects already lined up for the rest of the year and already until next year.
You're flying to Miami, right, in a few days?
Yeah, well, I don't go back to Miami. I go somewhere else in Florida, for another big film that I got contracted for as an assistant director and as an actor. But I do see myself going bigger with my brand because I did open up my own brand as well. I opened up even my own company and stuff.
A closing remark, a closing message for the fans, for the viewers of RGV Stars.
Well, I'd say for sure that you know, especially if you're gonna be in this industry, I'll tell you flat out and honest, it's not gonna be easy. Just because you make one short film or you do one film as an extra in the background doesn't mean anything. It's a good experience to learn, especially if you don't know anything about the industry and you're trying to go in. It's a good learning thing, but always be learning. Knowledge is a very, very big thing.
That's good advice. Thank you so much, Kaleb. We wish you the best. More success, more blessings in your future.
Yeah, and then
pleasure
you
to have
guys
you
can
here.
keep up with like what I do as well. Like
You'll always have our support.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
you can follow me on Instagram.
Absolutely.
All the socials.
Yeah. Kaleb Phoenix Allen.
Yeah, or on Instagram, Kaleb, KAOAB_official, and I post everything that I do.
Thank you, Kaleb.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. And officially, you're now in RGV Stars.
There you go.
Oh, thank you.
And this was another edition of season 23 of RGV Stars, live with Alex Arabia and Isaac Medina. Remember, RGV Stars is
The premier platform for showcasing Rio Grande Valley talent.
the RGV Celebrity Place to Be. Until next time.
Bye, guys.